Assalamu alaikum students. Today I'm going to teach you a poem titled The Listeners. It is the 6th chapter in your textbook, General English textbook. The poem The Listeners is written by Walter de la Mare. Walter de la Mare is a poet. He is from England. He was born and raised in England, and he has written many books, but he did not get fame for writing all those books. The only fame he got is only by this poem, The Listeners. The Listeners is a world famous poem, and they say this Listeners is the second most famous poem in the world. First poem that is most famous in the world is If. The poem is titled If, and that poem is written by Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling is also a poet from England, and The Listeners is second most famous poem in the world. These are the components of my lecture. The first component is here, text of the poem. Text of the poem is here. I am going to read a few lines. We have here 36 lines, but I will not read all of them, just 2-3 lines. Text of the poem is like this. Is there anybody there? Said the traveler, knocking on the moonlit door, and his horse in the silence champed the grasses of the forest's ferny floor. And it continues. The poem is comprised upon 36 lines, and those 36 lines have been divided into 9 stanzas. Well, you will read the text of this poem at your homes. You all have textbooks. Second component of my lecture is life and works of Walter de la Mare. As I said, Walter de la Mare is from England. He was a poet, he was a novelist, and he was a short story writer. Walter de la Mare has authored many books. Here we have this book that is Memoirs of a Midget. And Walter de la Mare, he writes mainly for children. He deals with supernatural fiction, horror fiction, and Walter de la Mare, he is also married, and he had 3 kids. They say this poem, The Listeners was a favorite poem of Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy was one of the greatest novelists in the world, and they say when Thomas Hardy was on his deathbed in 1926, when he was dying, he requested his wife to recite to him this poem. So I tell you people that this Listeners, the poem that is in your syllabus, is the world's one of the best poems. Next component of my lecture is here title. Well, title is not that much difficult. It is simple. The Listeners. The Listeners. Listeners is a noun. Grammatically speaking, Listeners is a noun. And listener, if you simplify it in English, it means those who hear you attentively. But in the context of the poem, the listeners here refer to a bunch of ghosts, a bunch of phantoms, or you can say a bunch of spirits, who the traveler believes to be inside a lone house. So title is very simple, it's not that much difficult. Next point is here paraphrase. Paraphrase means main points, or we can say summary of this poem. Summary is also very simple. In the poem, we have a traveler, a mysterious traveler. He arrives late at night at a house. The house is situated somewhere. The house is situated somewhere in a dense forest. And this traveler, he knocks 3 times. Throughout the poem, he knocks 3 times on the door, but no one comes down to open the door for him, and he gets confused. he senses the presence of some mysterious beings, or we can say ghosts or phantoms inside the house. He gets scared. Finally, what he does, he says that he kept his word, he fulfilled his promise. Perhaps he has been invited by the inmates of that house. We have confusion in the poem. We are not told who this traveler is, why does he come to this house, and why was that lone house situated and built somewhere in the dense forest. So in short, what this traveler does here, he says that he kept his word, then he mounts his horse and gallops away and runs away. But we have had a few confusions. The reader, teachers, even you students or any reader in the world, he asks lots of questions. He says, who was this traveler? Why was this traveler in the forest late at night? And whose house was there in the forest? So many questions are not explained, and many questions have been left unanswered. That is very simple. That is the paraphrase, or you can say summary main point is in the poem. Next point is here themes. Themes means summit substance of the poem, or you can say the main message, or you can say gist, or you can say central idea of the poem, moral of the poem. So first theme, this moral of the poem, you can say the main message in the poem is that silence is the best means of communication. Silence is the best means of communication. As you have heard, they say after music, after silence, music is the best means of communication. So we can communicate people through language, just as I am talking to you people, you understand message. Second is you can convey your message through music by writing poetry or by say composing music. And the third thing is silence. Silence also has something to tell us. What does silence tell us? Silence communicates fear. Imagine you are on an island, or you are somewhere in the middle of a desert and nobody is around you. You are all alone. Understand? And there is pin drop silence around you. What will happen to you? You will just get scared. And that is what happens in the poem. We have the traveler, and traveler does not find any other human being around him. He finds a house there, but he knocks on the door of that house, but nobody shows his or her presence there. In short, there is pin drop silence also around the house, and that silence that creates fear, that creates horror in the heart of the traveler. And the second theme is here, limits of human reason. And you people know that we human beings, we are not perfect, we are imperfect. We human beings, we can't understand everything that is here in the universe. And researchers tell us, knowledgeable people tell us, that we human beings, we have not even understood 1% of this universe. Forget about the universe. We human beings, we haven't understood even 1% of our own nature, human nature. Why somebody is evil, why somebody is good, why somebody is kind, why somebody cheats and betrays. We don't understand these things. And likewise here, limits of human reason is another theme of this poem. In the poem, we don't understand who the traveler is, why is there, who has built the house. So I think the second important theme in the poem is that human beings have got this imperfect reason. Next is here, search for meaning. Search for meaning is an existential question. Now what is existential question? Existential, or we say existentialism, is a philosophy, and that philosophy tells us that nothing in the universe is meaningful. Or in other words, they say that things in themselves have no meaning. It is we human beings, we attach meaning to things. Understand? Likewise, this poem, the listeners, it doesn't seem to have some clear meaning for students, clear meaning for children. It doesn't seem, but we readers, we have to attach some meaning to it. And that is why I said the third theme is what? This search for meaning, existential question. That is one more theme in the poem. Emotion up here. As I said early, when I told you people certain things about the writer Walter de la Mare, that Walter de la Mare, he was writing for children. Walter de la Mare, he was writing mainly for children. And here when you see emotion up here, raising the emotion up here in readers, or creating the emotion up here in readers, that is one more theme in the poem. Imagine you have a kid in your home and you tell that kid that there was a traveler, he was all alone, he was somewhere in the middle of dense forest, then he comes across a home, he knocks the door of that home, but the people don't open the door of that home for him, he gets scared. Even that child, that kid, he will get scared. Then why was that traveler late at night there in the forest, and why the inmates of the house did not open the door for him? So small children, if you tell them this story late at night, they will get scared, they will get terrified, and that is one more theme of the poem. Next component of the poem is literary devices. Literary devices, and many literary devices have been used here. We have alliteration, we have onomatopoeia, we have metaphor, binary symbol, rhyme scheme. My students, you have already read these things in lower classes in 10th and 9th. Alliteration. What is alliteration? The definition of alliteration is a repetition of consonant sounds at the start of words. And here in the poem you have foresters, ferny, floor. All the three words, they start with per sound. Foresters, ferny, floor. One more example of alliteration in the poem is silence surged softly. Silence surged softly. So. So more examples are there in the poem. You will read the poem, you will know what are the more examples of alliteration in the poem. Then the second literary device is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, it means when the sound of a word suggests the meaning of the word. Sound and the meaning of the word, they are to some extent, they look similar. For example, hissing. So hissing, word hissing, its sound suggests its meaning. Likewise, buzzing. And here in the poem we have champing, we have smiting, the second literary device. One more literary device is metaphor. Metaphor, you people already know what metaphor is, it is definition. So in short, metaphor is indirect comparison. And when we compare one person, one thing with another person, another thing, indirectly. In the poem you have host, you have silence, you have voice, many examples. Next is binary. Binary is one more literary device. Binary means a pair of contrasting words. For example, day, night. Day contrasts with night. Love, cry. Good, bad. And in the poem you have purple, accidental. Understand? And next, this literary device used in the poem is here symbol. Now what is a symbol? Symbol is a word that suggests symbol, you can say here that it is a word or phrase that refers to something else possessing similar qualities. For example, sometimes we say that Gandhi is a symbol of peace, Hitler is a symbol of you can say anger or violence. So Gandhi, number one, is a human being, understand, but at the same time we attribute peace to him. Hitler is also a human being, but we attribute violence to him. Likewise, here in the poem you have a bird. Bird is an animal, but at the same time this bird in the poem, it refers peace in the forest. And second word is here horse. Horse is again an animal, but horse also refers to what? Life in the forest. And then you have rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is a pattern of similar sounding words. So in the poem you have A, B, C, B. Last component of my lecture is a glossary. Glossary means here meaning of difficult words, difficult terms. A few words have been used in the poem and I would like to simplify them. We have champ. Champ means eat noisily. Champing, eating noisily. Turret means here a balcony. And then you have sill. Sill is here. Sill has two meanings. Literally it means stepping stone, but here in the poem sill means extended this window edge. And then you have turf. Turf means grass. I means yes. In parliament you hear those who say aye, police say aye, those who say no, police say no. So I means yes. Then plunging hoofs refer to the feet of the horse. So these were the 6 components of my lecture. Hope you people will understand it. If you have any query, if you have any question, you can contact me via WhatsApp or email. So God bless you. Stay blessed, all of you.